After months of waiting, the Alexander the Great relic has finally landed in Rise of Kingdoms. But I'm sure you're wondering, should we be spending our relic coins on this new museum buff? Join me to find out. What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another Rise of Kingdoms gameplay episode from your very own Shappy Gaming. Today we are going to be breaking down the new Alexander the Great relic buff and testing it to see if this buff is worth investing in. And more importantly, does this make Alex even more viable in the field and late game than he is today? So, starting off, let's take a look at exactly what this buff is giving you. Based on what we're seeing here, it looks like it's infantry defense plus 10% and normal attack damage reduction of 3%. Overall, what this means is it's going to make your Alex March just a little bit tankier, which, if you have him behind Guan Yu, is actually going to be really nice because that infantry defense is going to make you a little bit more swarm-proof, and that normal attack damage reduction is going to make it so you're taking just a little bit less damage when you are getting into more prolonged fights. So overall, I'm kind of pleased with that buff. I think compared to some of the other buffs, it's not great, but I think for Alex, who's already a super viable commander, it's not a bad situation. Now let's talk about some of the costs though. With every new relic buff that comes out, the cost for these relics goes up. So the relic coins and exhibit coin cost increases for every relic. If you end up finding you have a bunch of relics that you're not really using, what you can actually do is come in and salvage them, and not only will you get some of these relic coins back, but you'll also lower your cost for future ones. Just something to keep in mind as we go through and test out this relic. So, as always, I did go through and test it out with my dear friend Caveman, and the results were actually pretty surprising. So, first things first, this testing, as with any of them, was a testing with no equipment. We were using all T4 units. Neither of us were in an alliance, and from Battle 1 to Battle 2, nothing changed beyond me adding the relic buff to my Guan Yu and Alex. So, in our first battle, this was not using the relic. As you can see, if I come in here, no relic. My infantry attack buff was 120%, infantry defense 86, and infantry health 67. Caveman absolutely slaughtered me with his Nevsky Joan, which makes sense because I believe if we take a look at the troop buffs just again here, he is VIP 17 because he has the all damage buff. Now, on the surface, this looks pretty bad, but this gave us a really nice baseline for testing out the Alexander the Great relic buff to see how substantial this difference really makes. Now, the other thing that's worth calling out is this is a 1v1 duel. Guan Alex does best in a multi-enemy scenario because Guan Yu has an AoE attack. Just something to keep in mind as we proceed through this. So, we went through and we did test number 1. Now on to test number 2. Immediately, there is a stark difference between these duels. In test number 1, we lost a lot more power. The severely wounded were 28,000. In test number 2, it was 26,529. That is a massive difference between duel number 1 and duel number 2. Furthermore, if you look at the damage that Caveman took, his damage that he took in the first duel was 51.8 thousand, whereas in the second duel, he took a 58,000 damage. What this meant in this particular scenario is that defense gave Guan and Alex a longer lasting power. It also meant that it gave us more time to deal more damage to Caveman, potentially even one full skill cycle here. So what does this mean? Obviously, this relic buff was specific for Alex. So, if you choose to put him behind another tanky commander like Martel, this will give you a greater lasting power in the field and make that march even more tanky. Now, the alternative is that you could put Alex with another commander like Harold, which definitely needs that tankiness. And actually, taking a look at these dueling reports, that would be my first commander that I would look at as a pair with this new Alex relic. So, I hope this helps you out. To me, I think that the relic is an absolute no-brainer based on these tests. If you have any questions, suggestions, or you want to see this testing with other commanders, let me know in the comment section below. I hope that you've enjoyed. This has been a quick but valuable Alexander the Great relic testing. Subscribe if you enjoy, bottom right hand corner. Thank you all, Shappy out.